The purpose of this life is the preparation for the hereafter. The purpose of this life is the preparation for the hereafter.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Welcome back to one of our beautiful segments wherein we speak about death and what it entails. Today we're going to look at one of the most important topic also. So as people ask many questions to say, well, I have so much, I have my loved ones. Well, what happens now when I leave this world? Do I get to meet them as in the world, in the barzakh? Do I get to meet the people that I used to know, my friends, my relatives, my connections? Do I get to meet them? We are going to look at this and many more as to what happens, the connection between the living and the dead. It's a very, very crucial and important topic to ponder over or to discuss about, because you need to understand, is there a connection between the people that are alive and the people that have passed away? And without much time, I should like to quote one beautiful narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherein he states that if a person sends the greatest amount of salutations upon Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then that person is going to be closer to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of Qiyamah. What an honor that is. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. صلاة وسلاما عليك سيدي يا حبيبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. So our discussion for today is the connection between the living and the dead. In this dunya, people talk of connections. People love to have connections. When a person needs something, the first thing that they think of is, let me contact one of my connections, or let me contact one of the people that I know. Wherever you go, wherever you might be, you will find that we are connected in a way or the other to certain people that we admire or people that we know. It can be our childhood friends, can be our spiritual masters, as in, if a person is connected spiritually, whenever you are faced with a problem, you contemplate and you think of your spiritual master, you think of the teachings of your spiritual master. Because of that connection that you have between you and your spiritual master, you are able to solve so many anxieties of this life. You are able to become a person who is aware of his surroundings, a person who is aware of the commandments and the teachings of our noble Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For also they have a connection with our greatest master, the greatest personality, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has the greatest of connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. So connection is something which we are fond of, something that which we are used of, something that we know, we hear in our daily lives. So hence today we are going to look at the connection between the living and the dead. Is there such a connection? Does that such connection exist? Or when a person dies, then that is it. That's the end of it. There's no connection between him. There's nothing that connects him and those that are remaining in this life. If that's the case, then we'll have to find out what the narrations say with regards to this. The narrations tells us, and we'll have an answer at the end of the day, inshallah, Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Salatu wa salaman alayka ya Sayyidi ya Habibi ya Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Hadrat Ayyub Ansari reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam said that when the soul of human is removed, then the kind servants of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal meet with him, just as they meet someone who is bringing good news, and they say, look at relief which your friends have received from the grief and distress of this world. They then ask him about the condition of those on earth. That's their soul they are discussing. Now they're asking about the condition of those on earth. They ask, what has such and such person done? No, they still remember those people that they used to converse with, the people that they used to spend their time with in this dunya. So they ask now, what has such and such person done? Oh, did such and such a lady get married or not? They will then ask the person about a person who passed away before them. When the newly deceased, the new soul that has gone up to the barzakh, informs them that the particular person has already died, they say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He has gone to hell. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your deeds are presented before your close ones and relatives. Listen to this very carefully. Your deeds are presented before you, before your close ones and relatives. When his deeds are good, then they become pleased by it. And if his actions are evil, then they are saddened by it. On seeing good deeds, they say, O Allah Azza wa Jal, this is your grace and mercy. Complete your bounties upon him and let him pass away upon this. And when they see the evil, subhanallah, when they see the evil actions, they say, O Allah, bless him with divine guidance so that he may do that which pleases you and which will afford him your closeness. In this hadith, we learned, there's a great lesson that we learned. Number one, in as much as we are fond to the people in this dunya, that connection is never lost. The people we met, the people we know, the people that we've discussed, the people we used to have discussions with. We find in this riwayah that the newly deceased, it goes up to the heavens, it goes up to the places where these souls are. These are souls that were committing beautiful deeds that Allah Azza wa Jal was happy with. Hence they tend to meet and they discuss. According to this narration, they meet and they discuss and they ask, what happened to such and such a person? Or this lady, what happened to her? Did she get married? These other souls, they know all of these things. And again, another lesson which we learned from here is that when a person does good deeds, it is presented to his closed ones, and relatives. When you do any kind of deed, it is presented to them. Now, imagine that you do a lot of bad deeds. Na'udhu billah, you do a lot of bad deeds every day. You're sinning against Allah Azza wa Jal. Every day you are unmindful of your duty towards Allah Azza wa Jal. Every day you are unmindful of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and every day you are breaking the boundaries, you are transgressing against Allah Azza wa Jal each and every day. Now you have your father, or you have your mother, or any of your relatives that have passed away. Now all of these deeds that you are doing, they are presented, it is presented to them. Now if your deeds are good deeds, they are happy. They are happy. But if your deeds are bad, evil deeds, then they become saddened. Now why would you want to hurt the feelings of your beloved father? Why would you want to hurt the feelings of your mother? Or why would you want to hurt the feelings of your close one, or your close friends, or your relatives? Why would you want to hurt their feelings? So we have to try our utmost. Shaitan makes it seem as if it is difficult, but trust me, it is not difficult. Yes, we are in this dunya and we are going to be tested by Allah Azza wa Jal. That is a promise Allah made. And at the same time, we have a very potent weapon within our mechanism. And what is that? It is a dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. We have to ask Allah all the times for His guidance, Allah to strengthen us, Allah to make us be able to identify and realize the tricks of shaitan, for he comes with all sorts of tricks. Shaitan can bring something which is unlawful, it may seem lawful to you. He may beautify it in such a manner, and you'll think that it is something which is lawful. Shaitan decorates all the unlawful things, and he makes them look so beautiful for your eyes. Every time you have to ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect you from these tricks of shaitan and make you to able to do a lot of good deeds. In that way, you're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your relatives that have passed away. For this narration, it tells us that all of these are presented in the court of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. Not only that, but also in the court, but also to your relatives, it is presented to them as well. Now that person who, when they ask what happened to that person, then the newly deceased, when it says that that person passed away before me, the hadith mentioned here that the deceased say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He has gone to hell simply because he is not there with them. For if a person is with them, obviously they will recognize that person is here with us. But if they ask about a person, and if a newly deceased tell them that, no, he passed away before me, but then they have never met him, then which means he has been doomed to the hellfire. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to safeguard us from the hellfire. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to safeguard our loved ones from the fire. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to safeguard our relatives, to safeguard each and every follower of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam till the day of Qiyamah, inshaAllah, Ameen. For nobody deserves the fire of Jahannam amongst the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imagine for a person who once mentioned the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to be cast into the fire of Jahannam. It is because of our actions. It is because of our deeds. It is because of the way that we behave in this dunya. My respected brothers, death is certain. Death is something which is going to overtake each and every one of us, myself included. Every person, every creation of Allah with a soul is going to face death, is going to test death. So let us not live in this dunya as if we own this dunya. Let us not live in this dunya as if we have the guarantee of Jannah. Let us not be like that. Even the companions whom Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gave glad tidings of Jannah, did they stop for a day to perform their salah? Did you ever hear that for a single day did they stop giving their charity? For a single moment, did you ever hear that they stopped praising Allah or sending salutations upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? On the contrary, they made sure that they performed their salah. They made sure that they gave charity. They made sure that they sent salutations upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They made sure that they hastened towards that which was good, even though they were given glad tidings. What about you and I? What about you and I? Ask yourself this question. We do not have this guarantee. So then, why do we behave in this dunya as if we have the keys to Jannah? As if we are the owners of Jannah? My respected brothers and sisters in the religion of Islam, we are in this dunya for a very short period of time. Yes, when you are a youth, when you hear about a person who has lived for 60 years, you will think to yourself, no, it's a long time. I still have time to enjoy. And this, I would like to take this moment to address the youth. To address the youth, the leaders of tomorrow. Let us not take our youthful nature for granted. The time that we have as shabab, let us not take it for granted. We have to try our utmost to work very, very hard. Let us work very hard. I always have this view that if the youth, with the energy that they have, yes, and the experience of the elders, if we merge these things together, Islam is going to go far. But if the youth, they decide to ignore or disrespect the elders, or if the elders they decide not to take advantage of the energy of the youth to guide them towards the right direction, the energy that they have just need to be directed in a proper manner, you will find that Islam is going to go very, very, very far. So hence, there is a connection that I have been talking about, the connection between the living and the dead. That connection is never lost. When you knew somebody in this dunya, you are going to see them, you are going to recognize them also on the day, or you're also going to recognize them when they leave this dunya. So let us play with those that we love. We shouldn't hurt them. Not only that, the deceased, they are also troubled by the weeping of the living. The deceased are troubled by the weeping of the living. There is a beautiful narration here wherein that Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma reported that Jannah is suspended from the horns of the sun, and it opens once in a year. And the souls of the believers are in the crops. They recognize each other and they receive sustenance from the fruits of Jannah. In another beautiful riwayah, it states that the souls of two Muslims see each other from a day's distance away, then meet each other, even if they did not meet with each other in their lifetime. Now what happens when somebody needs to send, for example, salams, wants to send salutations upon somebody who has left this dunya? Is it possible? Is there a possibility? You will find that Abi Lubayba radiyallahu ta'ala reported that when Bishr ibn Bara ibn Ma'arur passed away, his mother was grief-stricken by his death, and she said, Ya Rasulallah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, someone or the other always dies from Banu Salma. So please tell me, do these souls recognize each other? Do these souls recognize each other, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? If this is so, then I would like to convey salam to Bishr through someone. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, by Allah Azza wa Jal, just as the birds recognize each other on the branches of trees, likewise the deceased recognize each other. Now when anyone was about to pass away from Banu Salma, the mother of Bishr will go to him and say, oh such and such a person, salams upon you. He will say, wa alaykum salam. She will then say, please pass my salams to Bishr radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Dear respected viewers, you find that the connection that the living has with the dead has been established in these numerous ahadith that I've just mentioned, and we're going to look at this one last riwayah from Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an. Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an reported that there were two Muslims who were friends and two unbelievers who were friends. One person from amongst the mu'mins passed away, so he was given glad tidings of Jannah. So he immediately thought of his friend and he said in the divine court of Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal, O Allah, such and such friend of mine used to command me to obey you and your beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he directed me towards doing good things, and he forbade me from doing evil, and he used to tell me that I really wish to meet with you. So, O Allah Azza wa Jal, after me, please do not allow him to go astray, so that he may meet with me, and you should be pleased with him like you are pleased with me. In this time, suddenly the other person also passed away, and both of them met each other. So it was commanded, each of you praise the other. Thereafter, one will praise the other and say, you are a really good brother and a really good companion. However, when one of two friends who are unbelievers die, and he is given the news of Jahannam, he remembers his friend and says, "Oh Allah, my friend used to command me to disobey you and your Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he commanded me to do wrong, and he stopped me from doing good, and he used to tell me, I do not wish to ever meet with you. So, oh Allah, do not give him guidance after me, and you should not get to meet with me and be displeased with him just as you are displeased with me." Then the other one also dies, and both meet with each other, and it is said to them, "Now each of you explain the condition of the other." So each one says to the other, "You were a bad companion and a bad brother." Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. You see the friends also that we choose, my respected brothers and sisters in the religion of Islam, they also are part of us, especially when we leave this dunya. If you have a good friend, make sure that you keep him. Make sure that you encourage one another to do that which is good. Stay away from bad friends. If you have a friend who doesn't want to perform salah, if you have a friend who doesn't love to give charity, if you have a friend who doesn't love to attend any mahfil, if you have a friend who doesn't love to be in the gathering of the pious people, who doesn't love to frequent the masjid, try and admonish him. Try and show him the way if it is possible. If you cannot, try and introduce an alim or any person who can be able to admonish that person. If that is also impossible, then stay away from that person, because that person is going to harm you. Do not befriend a fool, for a fool can harm you trying to help you. My respected brothers and sisters in Islam, thus have been trying to establish the connection between the living and the dead. Yes, indeed, there is a connection according to the narrations of our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, the connection between the living and the connection between the dead. If a person is living and he has relatives that have passed away, when he does good, they are pleased, and when he does something which is bad, also they are displeased. So we have to try our utmost to please, obviously, to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Every act of worship, it belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. But let's try and perform good deeds, for this results in the grieving of our relatives. This results in them becoming sad because of our bad deeds. But if they are good deeds, obviously they become happy with us. And all of this means that the place that we are in, because society or community plays a vital importance in a person's characteristics. So how do you build your characteristic? How do you make sure that you're in an environment that reminds you of Allah Azza wa Jal, the environment that reminds you of the sunnah of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, before death overtakes you, before Malak al-Maut comes knocking at your door, before Malak al-Maut comes to you directly. For we know Malak al-Maut, when they come visit the ones that we love. We know Malak al-Maut when they come visit maybe our neighbors that have passed away. We haven't seen Malak al-Maut, but we just know that they came simply because our relatives have passed away, our neighbors have passed away, our spouses, our loved ones have passed away. But Malak al-Maut is going to come to you. When you'll be able to recognize Malak al-Maut, no time for tawbah, no time for any good deeds. The time for good deeds is now. While you have the time, sit with the brothers of Dawat Islami. They are the brothers who love to go for qafila. They are the brothers who encourage others to do good and forbid that which is evil. Nekiki Dawat will be taking place in the area. Join the brothers and try and admonish your friends, your neighbors, and the other Islamic brothers as well. And you'll find that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to make you to be amongst those people who will live this dunya in an honorable manner, insha'Allah. آمين بجاه النبي الأمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
The purpose of this life is the preparation for the hereafter. The purpose of this life is the preparation for the hereafter.